Hello, my name's Don Gertz. I'm with the Gertz team of Remax Little Oak Realty. And today we're going to take a little bit of time and look at the real estate market in Mission and Abbotsford. And perhaps you recently received a copy of your BC assessment, and you might be interested in what the property values are worth in your neighborhood. And if you'd like, we can help you out with that as well. So for now, let's take a quick look at the real estate market in Abbotsford and Mission and what happened in 2017 and what we think might happen in 2018. We're going to take a look at the market statistics for Abbotsford and Mission. The top line is Mission, and then the blue line is Abbotsford. This first graph shows the house price index goes back to January of 2016 to where it is today at the end of December of 2017. So that's a period of about 2 years. In Abbotsford, we saw a gain overall of 22.9% and a gain in Mission of 18.7%. I think it's kind of interesting that Mission's prices are actually, when we consider all property types, Mission's prices are a little bit higher. But when we switch to the detached graph, we can see that Abbotsford's detached housing is much more expensive than Mission's. They ended up Abbotsford at $792,300 and Mission was $640, and that was a 17% gain for Mission and a 19% gain for Abbotsford. But you can see the general trend for the housing price index is always going up. That's the same for all areas. When we look at the condominiums or apartments, you see a steady increase in pricing all the way through. And then when we look at townhouses, similarly, there's a few fluctuations, but in general, housing prices are on an upward trend. The real estate market is basically controlled by supply and demand. And when we look at the active listings over the last 2 years, we can generally see that supply has trended lower in all areas. When we specifically take detached, you can see it fluctuates as per the time of year, but generally it's been quite low. Same thing for apartments. Apartments in Abbotsford generally going down to where there's not very much selection. This doesn't take into consideration some of the new projects or new construction. It's mostly just the resales. But generally speaking, you can see that the trend is on a downward trend. Another area that we want to take a look at is how many sales there are. And sales are going to fluctuate. They're going to be all over the place. Let's first go to all property types. And generally the sales, the activity in the sales, it shows you the rhythm of the market. You can always see that every year there's a bit of a hump. And that hump usually comes in the busy time of the year where it's in May and June. And then over here, if we look, it was in June and May and April was a very busy time. But it goes up in the spring and it comes down again in the fall. Another thing that we need to look at when we're looking at the supply and demand is how many days on market. That'll show us how strong the demand is. Typically, in an average marketplace, you might say that we'd like to see a property sell within 60 days. Well, this is the last 2 years, and everything in the last 2 years has been less than 40 days pretty much. And if we even project that out to what it was like for the last 5 years, we've had a very active market where there's only been short periods of time from 2014 and before where the market took more than 60 days to sell a property. So when we're looking at it and saying, okay, the demand is still there because the sales are still happening very quickly. Supply is low when we look at the active listings. So we're anticipating that while some of the activity is going to be moderated because of some of the new mortgage rules, that generally speaking, until our supply changes, until our supply goes up to over 500 properties in Abbotsford and Mission, that we're going to still anticipate that there's going to be a strong demand and that property values will maintain and the market will still be relatively robust. Maybe not quite as robust as it was in 2016 and 2017, but I think still a steady market. If you have any questions or want to know how this would affect your assessment or whether or not your assessment is accurate, please give me a call. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can.